For over a decade, a vast majority of AFI members have been developing and implementing national financial inclusion strategies to promote financial inclusion in their respective countries. The AFI member network's knowledge and experience in developing, implementing, and revising national financial inclusion strategies have had a significant impact in advancing financial inclusion. In general, financial inclusion strategies have created enabling environments and the awareness for the deployment of strategic measures driving financial inclusion initiatives with the aim of achieving the specific financial inclusion goals as set out in the National Financial Inclusion Strategy Vision Statement. The AFI member network's knowledge and experience in developing, implementing and revising national financial inclusion strategies have had a significant impact in advancing financial inclusion. AFI's Financial Inclusion Peer Learning Group has therefore codified the AFI member network's good practices and approaches related to devising and implementing national financial inclusion strategies into a policy model that seeks to provide guidance on the pre-formulation, formulation, implementation, and monitoring and evaluation phases of a national financial inclusion strategy. The objectives of this policy model are twofold. Firstly, to provide guidance on the development and implementation of a national financial inclusion strategy based on efficient and effective approaches across the AFI member network, contributing to the achievement of the financial inclusion goals. Secondly, it's to advocate for the continued involvement of the private sector so as to not only ensure the integration of financial inclusion approaches in private sector business models, but also through private sector feedback, enabling the adjustment of these financial inclusion approaches in line with these business models. This private sector involvement is crucial to optimize the financial inclusion to targeted market segments in a more affordable and sustainable way. The scope and application of the policy model lies with codifying approaches that have been successfully applied within the AFI network. All elements of the policy model are allocated to the typical phases of the National Financial Inclusion Strategy life cycle, which is pre-formulation, formulation, and implementation. Each of these phases are subdivided into main components that need to be considered throughout the financial inclusion life cycle. The formulation stage builds on the pre-formulation deliverables and forms the basis for the actual National Financial Inclusion Strategy formulation. The tangible result of this work is a coherent and comprehensive document or set of documents identifying relevant financial inclusion policy areas and coordinating key stakeholders regarding their respective actions aimed at achieving the set of financial inclusion goals. The implementation plan is developed in this stage to ensure that all actions are implemented timely and in the most effective manner. Also, a monitoring and evaluation framework is developed to provide a basis for ongoing monitoring and evaluation of the National Financial Inclusion Strategy implementation. The implementation stage ensures that the actions identified in the National Financial Inclusion Strategy are effectively implemented in order to achieve the National Financial Inclusion Strategy goals. The implementation phase is supported by the monitoring of efforts to guarantee that all goes according to the plan, and if not, a feedback loop should either steer stakeholders towards more effective work or result in adjustment to the implementation plan, reflecting the changed circumstances. The post-implementation stage should focus on the overall evaluation of the National Financial Inclusion Strategy implementation and suggest further steps. This puts monitoring and evaluation key to this policy model, as in every stage there is a component of monitoring and evaluation alluded to. The National Financial Inclusion Strategy policy model reflects the variety of the approaches taken by the AFI member network and beyond, and recognizes the diversity of social, economic, political, and geographical characteristics of different jurisdictions. As all circumstances are different, this policy model is outcome-centric and does not lean towards any specific process or format of activities. Also, different countries may face different challenges, and therefore the list of policy issues included in this policy model are indicative, and each country should make their own decisions on priority policy areas based on their specific circumstances and country context. This policy model needs to be read in conjunction with other AFI knowledge products, including AFI's National Financial Inclusion Strategies Toolkit and National Financial Inclusion Strategies, Current State of Practice.